I love that the first comment I read when I started this one up was from Thabo. You're late again. Your reputation. Yeah, in fact, I think my reputation is for being late. I'm sorry, guys. Thank you so much for joining today. We've got the Mercedes-Benz EQS for you, and I'm going to run back on the questions that I've probably missed here, but I'm going to flip the camera around, just show you. I'm riding solo today. Probably. My video camera person, Patrick, will probably join a bit later, and he can take over at that point, and hopefully he'll be able to help me out by giving me the questions that I missed from Instagram. If you want to follow me there, it's at MilesPerHr. Like the shirt. Hang on. Like this shirt. And TikTok, same thing there, at MilesPerHr. Follow me there. So I will filter in the questions from the folks who are tuning in live. Thank you guys so much for joining. Kevin R, yes, I'm sorry I was late. Let's see. I'm going to run back here. Edgar, looks like a Hyundai Verna. Send it back to Mercedes. I don't know what the Hyundai Verna is. Hang on, let me flip it around now. I'm tired of looking at my face. Look at the car. Hyundai Verna, I'm not sure what that is, but it is an interesting look. Hey, Dylan, thanks for joining. Patrick says he'll be here in 12 minutes. Okay. Reminds me of the CLA. Wonder if they got the concept to create this car from the CLA lineup. I'm not sure, but I know they had a Vision EQS concept that was supposedly the inspiration for this vehicle, but it didn't quite translate super well. Hey, Noah. Thanks for joining. Can I get the girls with this? Asks Alejandro. Stylistically, I'm not so sure. We'll get more into that in a second. And then personality-wise, well, you tell me. What's your personality? Are you a likable person? Are you kind to people? Do you treat people well? If so, then I think you'll get the girls. Okay? How many electric motors does it have? So this version is the EQS 450 Plus. So it only has one electric motor powering the rear wheel. It's a rear-wheel drive electric vehicle, and it makes 329 horsepower and 416 pound-feet of torque, I believe. Hi, Google C. Let's see, who else? Thabo retracted his message about me being late. I mean, Thabo, you're not wrong. I was late. I apologize. Let's see, what other questions we got filtering in? First of all, thank you guys so much for tuning in live. Before I get any further, wait. I want to do quick shout-outs, and I apologize to these people for missing this earlier on. But, oh my goodness, I know Muiz Mustafer has rejoined as a MilesPerHr member. Thank you guys so much. And there's another person who I will wait for. Patrick, he has the name of the individual who also has joined as a MilesPerHr member. I want to thank him. Review it, says McLaren P4, MP4 Guy 5. Interesting name. I know the MP4 12C. Let's see. So I'm going to review this vehicle. I will have a full in-depth review coming at you in a couple weeks. So for that reason, I won't give my complete verdict on the car, but I will answer your questions. Sahil Bin asks, BLN asks, is it worth more than a Tesla Model S Plaid? That sounds like a full review question that will answer in that. But also, the Model S Plaid isn't exactly the direct rival to this. It would, price-wise, so the EQS 450 Plus starts at $103,000, and a Tesla Model S Plaid is going to be a little less expensive than that. But the Model S Long Range is really the one that the EQS is competing with, at least until there is the AMG Performance EQS that will come out. So until that happens, the EQS is really rivaling the Tesla Model S Long Range, and I will go more in depth on my impressions about this versus the Tesla Model S in my full-on review. Can you get a shout out? Kevin R, yes. I already gave you a shout out, but you got another shout out right here. You don't know about the rims, Alejandro. Yeah, so all the rim designs, wheel designs for the EQS are going to be aerodynamically functional. So they're going to have things like these blocked off panels here in the wheels to help channel air around them and not get caught in the spokes and things like that. And so first off, the design is going to look a little more flat because things are blocked off. But beyond that, this wheel design also is not the best. And this is the smallest of the three wheel designs. You got 20s like this, 21 inchers, or 22 inchers. Should we start asking the questions or wait for Patrick? Thabo, ask your questions. I got you. Yeah, Kevin, 103,000 to start. This one's 117 with some options, including the hyper screen. Kevin asks, this or the Lexus ES Hybrid that I did a review on? Well, this is a significantly more expensive vehicle. I think I like how the Lexus looked better. The interior of this is vastly better. Much better technology. It's much nicer to look at. And yeah, and the driving experience is so much better. So much quieter, so much more comfortable. Curtis asks, what is the 0 to 60 time? So for this EQS 450 Plus, the 0 to 60 is about 5.7 seconds. There's an EQS 580 that does 0 to 60 in low 4-second range. And then the EQS AMG version, whatever they're going to call that, is, they say 0 to 60 in like low 3-second range. Let's see. Roberto, looks too plain for that price. Yeah, so we can start talking about the design. I have specific questions from folks. I know, let's see, Andrew and who else had a comment about the design. Some people are just outright, they're like, this is ugly. And I'll say this, it doesn't look like what they're framing this vehicle to be as. The future of Mercedes-Benz for an S-Class, this exterior styling is not it for me. It is aerodynamically sculpted, and that is why it looks the way it does. Some people ask that question, like, why does it look this way? Well, the answer to that is that they did it to make it as efficient cutting through the air as possible. So the coefficient of the drag for this vehicle is like 0.020. It is the most aerodynamically efficient car you can buy right now, narrowly beating out the Tesla Model S. It's not by a lot. But I'll say this, the fact that the Tesla Model S is as close as it is to being as aero efficient as it is, but it looks more like a traditional sedan, means that I think Mercedes could have got away with maybe not being the absolute most aero efficient car in the world, having a very good coefficient of drag, but making something that looked really good. This does not look that good. And guys, I'm going to do my best to keep up with the questions, but remember, if you really want yours answered and I'm missing it, there's always Super Chat, and that supports the channel, and I'd really super duper appreciate that, guys. Okay, so let's see. Google C, Mercedes-Benz S-Class, Mercedes-Benz EQS. So I guess sort of comparing the two. Yeah, I mean, you're going to compare this to an S-Class a lot because, one, the price is very similar. 103 to start for this, 110 to start for an S-Class. And then the size of the vehicle, this is, I think, 3 inches shorter overall, 1 inch narrower than an S-Class. Not a huge difference, but the wheelbase is also almost the same length. And that means interior space is going to be very similar. So, yeah, you can make the comparison to this and an S-Class a lot, purely by the price and the interior space, but also the performance is going to be very similar. 0 to 60 is going to be like the same between this and an S500. Can you actually open the bonnet right now? No, you cannot open the hood at all. The only thing you are allowed to open in the EQS is the windshield wiper fluid reservoir. So you can add wiper fluid. That's it. You cannot open the hood at all. And the reason for that is because of the HEPA filter. It's an air filtration system in the car. Mercedes is saying the reason that you can't open the hood is that. It's probably more than just that, but this is the reason they're stating. The HEPA filter works in its encasement, the enclosement of the hood. It works perfectly. If you open that up, you can bring in different particles and the system won't work as well as possible. But the HEPA filter, filtering out debris and viruses and just bad air. Can you get it in a two-tone color, Thabo? Yes, you can. You can definitely get this car in a two-tone color. I don't think that would help this. David asked, Tesla Model S Plaid or this? Well, David, I will have an in-depth review where I'll compare this to a Tesla Model S long range because that's really more the competitor to this price-wise. The Model S Plaid is more focused on performance, and the EQS 450 is not really focused on performance. It can do performance. It's quick. 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds. It's pretty quick. And the top speed is like 130. But it's not really focused on performance. It's focused on range and comforts. And that's sort of like what the EQS is bringing to this segment. Whereas the Tesla and the the Model S and the Lucid, they're more focused on range that you're getting. This is not just about the range. It's bringing the luxury that those vehicles to this point haven't really had. Even though the range of this is very good, 350 miles is super not bad. And in fact, that's an EPA estimate. The range I've been getting is a lot better than this. Is there a long wheelbase version? Asks Davli. No, there is not a long wheelbase version, at least not in the US market. There's just this version. Let's look at the interior now. We've walked around the exterior a lot. Does it still feel like a classic Mercedes? Asks Sahil. That's a great question. A lot of it does. Now, this gets into the question of whether the new S-Class is classic Mercedes, right? Because some people saw the interior of that and they were like, oh my gosh, it's got so much technology. It doesn't look like traditional luxury. This, even more so with things like the hyperscreen, looks really far out and futuristic. But it's still got the luxury touches. It's still got the Mercedes-Benz treatment. The seats are super comfortable. You've got this nice open pore wood trim, and the details are just there. They did nice stitching in places. All the panels are really nicely put together. You get the Burmester beautiful speaker covers. So they did all the traditional Mercedes luxury things while adding some futurism to the car. So here comes the hyperscreen coming alive. Screens comprising like 56 inches of screen real estate, and it's all housed within this single piece of Gorilla Glass. It's reflection resistant, it's scratch resistant. And so I'm sorry, I'm just looking through the questions. Honk the horn, says Kevin. Sure. There's your horn from inside the car. One more. There you go. And then I'll do it from outside when Patrick gets here. Do I like the big screen? Are they laggy in real life? Not laggy. Tomu 7, this screen is not laggy. It's a really, really good system. I'm shocked at how good it is. So I'm very impressed with the hyperscreen technology. Someone asked about what you can do on the passenger screen, and I will show that when Patrick gets here, because he can be recording while I'm sitting in the passenger seat and doing that. Otherwise, I have to get up and get into the passenger seat. I want to do that. Kevin R, yeah, it's a loud horn. It is. They are beautiful screens, David. All of them are in high resolution. This one and that one are OLED displays. This one is not, but it still looks amazing. And the skins that they put on the gauge cluster are really cool. So you can have your typical S-Class screens, but then they've got like classic looks, futuristic. Sport is my favorite because as you accelerate, like these pieces come in. You'll see that in my drives. And then understated, just chilling. Oh, let's see. Tuxedo Black Cat, good to see you. Is it because I did this at 10 a.m.? You're available? You're awake? Thanks for joining. Is it easy to drive? Now, this is going to be a great question for when I'm actually out on the road, but it is easy to drive. There are a couple caveats I'll say to that. One, if you're not used to regen braking, so when the car slows the vehicle down, putting charge back in the battery, it's energy recuperation. That takes a little getting used to. You could always turn it off. So use these paddles to turn regen braking on and off. You can turn off the regen feature and then it's going to coast like a normal car. And in fact, this car coasts a lot further than a normal car because the aerodynamics and it just does. So that's one thing you have to get used to. And the fact that in this EQS, the brake pedal will actually be pressed for you when you're using the regen. And so it's like someone has stolen a portion of your brake pedal when you go there to press it. Tuxedo Black Cats. Okay, you're waiting for me to answer. I did answer that, so we're good there. Sahil, does it feel less comfortable in terms of noises compared to normal S-Class because of its engine, therefore you hear more? That is a great question. So what Sahil is asking is, because an internal combustion engine creates its own noises, that is in many cases filtering out some of the other noises you would otherwise hear in a car. So like the wind noise and the road noise, the tire noise, all those things you may not hear as much if you're listening to the internal combustion engine. But in this car, the thing that really seals the deal is the fact you have a Burmester 3D sound system that uses a frequency that cancels out some of the noises that you hear of the car, plus the fact that the added sound insulation to this EQS, it's so quiet inside the car. You'll hear it when we're out on the road and Kevin and Patrick gets here. Do I like the operating system? Ask Google C. Yes, the MBUX operating system is incredible. It's so user-friendly, and the fact that it doesn't have physical buttons bothers me in so many other touchscreen cars, but in this one, it doesn't because of how easy it is to use. And the car also learns your habits and will start prompting you with shortcuts like here and here for things that you would use all the time. So it would say like if you've been always like doing one commute when you get in and go to work, it'll give you a destination. You can just tap that and it'll start taking you to work. Or if you're using the massaging seat a lot, every time you get in the car, it'll give you the massaging seat prompt. It's pretty awesome. Does it have an air freshener? All Mercedes cars come with that. Not all of them do come with that, Kevin, but this one does have air freshening, and the bottle is, oh, can you see it? Yeah, it's up there in the top left corner. And you can turn that on at any point from within here. You go into the screen, you get a comfort. No, I'm wrong. It's actually not here. It's in this menu. You can do ionization, cleaning up the air, or you can add some fragrance. Tuxedo Black Cat says, this car honestly reminds me of some of the electric cars that the game Watch Dogs Legion has, but some of others in the future. They're old school vehicles, but has interesting features. Yeah, so I mean, the theme of what you're saying here, Tuxedo Black Cat, is that like this car looks like what games and movies have suggested a futuristic car is supposed to look like. It looks like a teardrop. It looks like a jelly bean, some people have said. And that's true. The shape is aerodynamic, but you could sort of like think of this car without wheels, with like hovercraft technology instead, and it would work. It's just funky when you see that traditional cars, in my opinion, look better. The backseat area. I'm curious about that. Looking for other questions. Can the touchscreen be sometimes annoying because of the sun's reflection? Yeah, so no, not in this one. So they did a really good job of the application of the screen, the Gorilla Glass that they used. It avoids a lot of the really annoying reflection that you get on some of these screens. So I think they did a great job of that. Car is awesome, Pedro. I do think it's a really cool car. When's the POV coming? I think in a week and a half, Bumblebee. I'm sorry, I've got some other stuff to put out that I think you guys are really gonna like. Mike went out a bit. Thabo, can you still hear me, guys? Blink twice if you can hear me. None of us can see. Mobile Mama. Hey, doing well. How about you? Is she replying to someone? That's my wife. She joined in. Kevin, yes, you can hear me. Mobile Mama says not well. Wonder why. It's so odd sometimes. Things work and then don't work. Trying to test all of the connections, make sure you can hear me. Oh well. While I'm standing out here, you guys want to see the hatchback because it's one of this vehicle's unique details relative to other sedans. I gotta go here. So you've got a lot of storage capacity back here, and more importantly, is it's not even that much more space than you get in an S-Class. But because of the hatch, you've got all of this real estate here, make it easier to load things in. The mic died. Can you guys, let me try this. Can you hear me now, guys? Disconnecting the mic that I just did. Anyone? Anyone? Can you hear me? Talking about the hatch. Anyone to hear me? Give me a lifeline, guys. Anyone? We keep talking. Nope, you can't hear me. Tuxedo Black Cat says you can't hear me. Well, then that's got to be a Google feature, guys, because I've disconnected my mic. So quality isn't too great. Nope, you guys can't hear me. Man, I'm sorry. That sucks. Don't know why the audio isn't great. I'm going to plug my mic back in and speak louder. This has got to be a YouTube issue, guys, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it's a YouTube issue, so it's not anything I can control. My mic setup is just fine, but yeah, it's back. All right, David says back. You can hear me now. Great. Thank you guys for helping me out with the mic issues. Tire size, asked Kevin. These are 255 section Goodyear Eagles at all four corners, so you don't have a staggered stance. It's the same wheel size in the rear as it is in the front. Can you get an exhaust shot? Well, no, because there is no exhaust. It's an electric vehicle. There's not any fuel mixture and air needing to channel out of the car. There's no back pressure that needs to be exited through the vehicle, so there is no exhaust. You can get an exhaust area shot. Happy to show you this. The diffuser portion is just chrome piece here. Nothing really exciting there, but yeah, of course, no exhaust. It is an all-electric vehicle. Frank, please. Frank? Frunk, you're probably asking about the frunk. There is no frunk in this vehicle because for the same reason I mentioned earlier, oh, guess who's here? Patrick's arrived. Hang on, you guys have always wondered, what's Patrick look like? Hang on, he's got to put on his shades.
Yeah, sorry.
No, oh no, he's got to put on his glasses.
Yeah.
There,
so I can't see the screen.
There you go. Okay, so
Sorry guys for being late.
No, he's good. Patrick's working this morning. He's a working man. So I'm gonna hand this back off to him, and I'll flip around the mic. Sorry for this sound, guys, for a sec. Need to look a close-up of my face. Someone was asking about the front. This vehicle does not have a front trunk. For the same reason I mentioned, you can't open the hood because of that HEPA filter, the filtration system. They don't want to mess with that, and so they're leaving this hood sealed. Speaking of the hood, you'll notice it's pretty short, and that's because relative to an S-Class, it does not have the same length to the hood that an S-Class does. I was showing the interior. You know what? Let's sit in the driver's seat. I was trying to show folks the passenger display, but you can't actually access it unless you have someone sitting in the seat. So you guys might have been wondering, like, why am I not showing this? Well, unless someone's sitting in the seat.
Do I need to close the door?
No, you're good.
Okay.
And it's warm,
cool.
so it's like, unless you're sitting in the seat, you can't turn on this display. And then
too much glare.
Glare?
Yeah.
That's so funny because I was just talking about how this screen doesn't really glare that bad.
Yeah. Well, just
it's better.
Yeah.
It's better. So like I'm just for my own test. Like I'm looking over here at a thing that the sun is directly on that screen, and it's like you can see that the glare is muted. I can still see everything going on that screen. So maybe it's just the camera is just picking up on
the angle of the
screen.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
It's getting the right side.
Okay. Well, drivers shouldn't be looking at this screen anyway, typically, guys. And in fact, Mercedes is smart. And if the driver starts looking at this screen while they're driving, it'll dim the display. So even if the passenger's here and using it, if the driver's getting distracted and looks at this screen, it'll dim it. Someone asked, do you have the questions per chance on you?
Yeah.
The ones that text
of course, yeah.
Because I want to give credit. Someone asked about who or what you can do on this screen. And you can do a lot. You can do almost everything that you could do from this screen on the passenger display, and that includes things like you can set your massaging seat, you could put in navigation directions, you can change the media, you could watch movies if you want to, you can check in on the range of the vehicle, you can see like the distribution of the power, and you can set the ambient lighting from here. Like you can do a lot from this display, and it like responds the same way that this does, super responsive, and it, has that haptic feedback.
So Uber Lyft
asked that question. Thank you, Uber Lyft. Good question.
Have you started with the questions?
Wait, quick question. So the very first thing on there, I want to give credit to the person. I cannot remember the person. Something Spruill. Is it Michael Spruill who is a new YouTube member? The first thing on that.
Oh yes, yeah. Marvel Spruill.
Marvel Spruill. So.
And Muse.
Marvel Spruill. Muse Mustafa had rejoined. Thank you, Muse. Yeah. But Marvel Spruill, thank you for being a new YouTube member. Guys, just consider just joining, just at the $1 level, maybe just supporting the channel. I would super appreciate, or getting yourself a MilesPerHr t-shirt.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys. So
no questions have been asked, right? Or
no, I haven't.
Nope.
I didn't do any of those. But like, if people are like asking questions here, we'll do those.
Let's see. Well. First question, what I'm seeing right now, does have the Hey Mercedes feature.
It does, and it actually has it for the driver and for the passenger. So sitting here, I could say, "Hey Mercedes." Leave the cars on. I didn't turn the car on. Yeah, put your foot on the brake. Yeah. Okay, now the car is on. If I say, Oh yeah. Oh, it's gonna need a lot of air. Hey Mercedes.
Oh, I think the back door too.
Oh, the back door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it blocks that off if the doors open. 1 sec.
Yep.
Oh, and the hatch too. I had everything open. That is interesting that if it doesn't do it with the doors open. Hey Mercedes. You try.
Hey Mercedes.
Did we turn it off? I may have turned it off. Because it is a setting. You can have that.
The mic again.
Oh, the mic. You're saying this mic's up. Or is it falling or just?
Oh, dude, they're saying my car works.
It's a YouTube thing because like it was working. Here, let's unplug it and replug it. Sorry guys, 1 sec. So you can do a setting for.
Oh, they're saying that the Bluetooth is connected to the car.
Oh, that's weird because I thought I had turned that off. Hang on, let me just go in here and disconnect.
Car review.
Oh, that's why the mic kept going out.
Yeah,
guys, I was over here blaming YouTube. It actually wasn't YouTube's fault, but I am gonna go into. This is great. I have to find this now. Should be in phone, and I'm going to disconnect this. Miles' iPhone. How do I? Settings. Disconnect.
That's probably it.
Guys, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, better. Sorry,
okay.
guys.
Yeah, sorry. So, guys, what you were actually then hearing, my voice was super faint. I'm realizing now I'm thinking about this. My voice was super faint because it went to the car, and so it was going to the Bluetooth system for the car. And so I was like shouting, and the only reason you were hearing me was like very faintly through the Bluetooth system of the car. Okay.
So probably the hey me now
The hey,
would work.
Hey Mercedes.
How can I help?
Ah, there you go.
So I've got my own on the right side, and then you'll have your own on the left side. So I'm gonna say I'm feeling warm. I've talked way too much for it.
How much does it cost?
I'm
What's the
sorry.
price
Can
of
you
the car?
say that again, please?
I'm feeling warm.
I'm setting the temperature to minimum.
That's nice.
That's cool.
All right, your turn. You try.
Did you say hey Mercedes?
Actually,
I truly appreciate the sentiment.
Oh, okay. We're good. Thank you. No more. Oh, how do I cancel? Okay, now you try.
Hey Mercedes.
How may I help you?
Oh, that's quick. That's really quick.
And you've got yours over here, and I had mine. What do you need to say?
I'm sorry. Can you say that again, please?
I'm feeling a little hot.
Please switch on the ignition to use the function.
Oh, put your foot on the brake.
Sure.
Oh, that's cool. I'm feeling hot. Oh, okay.
It's like no. It's like you're not driving this car.
So what's the price of the car?
This one is tested as 117. Starts at 103. But 117 is tested with the Hyperscreen. This is like a $7,000 option, the Hyperscreen, which I honestly think should be standard. Like you can get the 12.8-inch display as standard plus the 12.3-inch, but I'm like, this is like basically a huge deal for this car, so it should be a standard feature. They should even if it's a little bit of a cost hit, you guys should just take the hit. Even if they had to raise the price a couple $1,000s to make sure this was standard, they should have done that.
Tuxedo Black Cat does have remote start.
It doesn't. Actually, you know what?
On the app.
So the app, actually, I'm wrong. The app will even go to the point where you can schedule it to start at a certain time.
No way, that's
well,
cool.
so it'll start. It'll do basically accessory start, but it's so easy for you to actually start the car. It doesn't matter. It'll turn on all the AC. It'll set a temperature that you want. It'll even schedule charging. So if you have it plugged in, but then it's like I want it to actually start charging at 10 p.m. and I plugged it in at 6. You can have it set up so you just plug it in when you get home, but it won't start charging until the time you set. It's really cool.
Sahil asked, does this have Napa leather or is it just fake leather like the Tesla?
Yeah, this is Leatherette seating surfaces. They wanted to do eco-friendly, sustainable materials for the leather seating surfaces, and so though it feels very convincing, this is definitely Leatherette.
Yeah.
but the seats really feel convincing. Like, I could be confused that it's not leather, but the only thing I think that is leather is this. The steering wheel feels like leather, and the seats feel like leatherette, but really, really nice leatherette. Let's see. This stuff in the door panels is also, and up here is all leatherette too, but it feels good. It feels really good.
Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, are they available?
It's got both of them, and they're both wireless.
Nice. I'm sorry for the questions from
Okay.
Instagram. Let's see. Andrew and Tyler asked, why is it ugly?
Yeah. So I thought that was funny. But so I sort of answered that at the beginning. That was the one question I did remember.
Oh, okay.
In that, like, it looks the way it does for aerodynamic efficiency. Do I think it's worth it to be as efficient as it is cutting through the air for the styling? No. I think that they should have made it look better and take a small, very small hit to the aero efficiency for the sake of the luxury look and feel of the car. Like, I think it should have. I just wanted to do this because it's fun.
Oh, that's cool.
I
you
think
just swiped it.
Yeah, you just swipe it. I think it should have. I think it should have looked better and had a slightly less impressive coefficient of drag for the look. Because this price point, this kind of car, the look matters so much.
Kevin R.S. Are the windows double glass?
Double. So
Layered?
there's a laminate all over the windshield and front windows, and I think the windows are dual pane. We can find out in a sec. They're frameless, so there's no frame here around the windows, both for the driver and for the back seat. But I believe they're also, yeah, they're dual pane glass.
Luke Taylor asks, horsepower?
329 horsepower and 416 pound-feet of torque. In the 450, in the 580, it's 516 horsepower and like 612 pound-feet of torque. It's something really good.
Did you do the creek test already or
Oh,
not?
I haven't. Yeah, Cameron asked about the creek test always. Oh, I got to turn down the AC so you can actually hear it. Pretty good so far. Little creak there. That's pretty good. Okay, up here on the dash, you got some creaking up on the dash, but this isn't something you're gonna touch. You're never gonna put your hand up here. So this is the only spot I'm feeling some creaks. That's really good. That's super good, because typically, like, in here, there's tons of creaks, so there wasn't really anything there.
Let's see, Kevin R asked. Hey Mercedes, set the AC too low.
Try again.
Hey Mercedes, set the AC too low. Oh, there it is.
How can I help?
Set the AC too low.
I'm sorry, can you say that again, please?
Doesn't like that command.
Tuxedo Black Cat asks, what is the 0 to 60 and what cars can this vehicle beat to 0 to 60?
A lot of, like, your average sedans, this will beat to 60. 5.7 seconds is the 0 to 60 time in this car. And you think, like, your average, like, Honda Accord or whatever is going to do 60 in the low to mid 7s. So you think this is more than a second quicker than that. I'm trying to think of, like, a BMW 5 Series, like your 5, what is the base 5 Series? Like a 530i will probably do 60 about as quick as this. So that's kind of like that's your benchmark. But like a 5 Series BMW.
Okay, I'm gonna start with another question from Instagram.
Yeah.
What 2020 sports car do you recommend as a first timer? By Raven.
It's a good question. Obviously, we're talking about electric vehicles right now, but you just asked, like, what 21 sports car for a first timer would I recommend? Obviously, everyone wants to be like, Miata, and I think that is a great car. I tend to, like, appreciate more hot hatchbacks, so, like, I would always go like a Golf GTI. And you would be fine with the 7th generation. The 8th generation is awesome, but the 7th generation is just fine. Like a GTI would be my pick. The Honda Civic Si would also be a good, I mean, it's a light sports car, but both, I mean, weight and also, you know, performance level. It's pretty light, but it also would be a great car. Basically, you want to think of something that has performance to get you excited and dynamics that are really communicative, but nothing that is going to overwhelm you such that you won't be able to learn with the car. So like if you're getting into a sports car for the first time, you go after like a Scat Pack Charger with almost 500 horsepower. Even if you're a good driver, you being able to test the limits of the car, or test your own limits, I should say, and learn with the car, it's going to be so much harder than if you start with something that has a lower threshold but still has fun and learn with the car, and then you graduate in your second or third car. I don't know why I'm doing this weird squatting thing, but let's I'll go back to the exterior. Actually, I'll just show you the rear seats because I kind of glossed over those.
Well, to start outside, questions about the door actually from Jaden. Do the doors open, automatically open and close?
That's a good question. So that's an option. This one doesn't have the comfort access option. With the comfort access option, you can just walk up to the door and it'll open for you, the driver door. It'll open for you. You get in, you put your foot on that brake pedal and it closes the door for you. If you want to close the doors or open them from in the car, there's a button or a setting in the infotainment. You just hit the control for like driver door or trunk or whatever, and you can control the opening and closing. So it is a cool feature. We don't have it on this one.
Leg room in the back. How do you feel about that?
Really solid. So this seat's about even where that seat was, and you pushed it back even further.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm not really actually showing you where my seating position is. My seating position would be probably another 2 to 3 inches before that. Again, I'm 6 feet tall. So me sitting behind that, I have lots of legroom, and the foot pockets are tall, so you can kind of stretch out. The only complaint I have legroom-wise is not the amount of like forward to backward space, it's the tilts that you have up on your knees because the floor is higher with the batteries in the floor. And so your knees are kind of doing this. Whereas in a regular S-Class, the floor is lower, and so you feel a little more relaxed because you got that thigh support.
Mobile Mama asks, what about the ambient lighting?
Yeah, so Mobile
You
Mama.
can't see it right now though, can you? Or
you can't really see it right now.
Right.
Whereas like the regular S-Class, you can see ambient lighting whenever you want. It's crazy. But the ambient lighting in this vehicle is super cool. I'm trying to think. Once go to the passenger side, and I'll shoot from the driver's side. We may even like get out moving because the ambient lighting does crazy things when you're actually driving, and I'll show you guys those. And also, it's getting warm.
yeah, it's super hot today, man.
It's freaking warm.
Guys, sit inside. I'm just gonna step outside because
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, so this, for reference, this is my seating position. So I probably bought myself another 4 inches of legroom back there.
I'll probably have to close the door, huh? Do I?
Oh, to what? To do the ambient lighting? Well, so I can show you a couple things that are easy. That are
yeah,
easy.
you can
So you
see
saw
it.
the ambient lighting
Yeah.
up there, right? Well, so let's watch this. If I go warmer temperature, it'll send a
changes,
red
yeah.
light across this side. Let's do it for you. So I'm going to turn the car on.
Yeah, mine does that too.
And so I'll do,
oh,
you
that's
saw the
cool.
red go over there, and it goes
Oh,
into the doors.
Do it again. Maybe I didn't.
Blue.
Can't see it.
You
oh,
see
yeah,
that?
Yeah, you can see it.
So you can just
hopefully.
like, so they call this active ambient lighting. You have to pay extra for it to do like these crazy animations.
That's
But
fine.
wait till you see this car when we're out and driving, because I've set the ambient lighting in like this responsive mode, and so it'll like do red flashes when you're accelerating, and then it'll do like white lights just pulsing when you're just driving around, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
Tuxedo Black Cat asked, does this vehicle compete with the Tesla? With a Tesla?
Yeah, so it would be the Tesla Model S long range would kind of be the competitor, and the Lucid Air would be another competitor. Interestingly though, this vehicle is also bringing in, like they're targeting traditional sedan, luxury sedan buyers. So it'd be like the S-Class, like the 7 Series, like the Audi A8. It targets all of them with a much nicer interior than you're gonna find in like a Tesla Model S. Tesla Model S is really like a premium car. This is full on luxury. Should we hit the road?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions.
Okay.
Kevin R asked, charging port location. Did you show that already?
I didn't. That's a good question. So it's to your left. It's back here. And it's not remarkable at all, guys. It just looks like a fuel door.
Typical.
It just pops
Yeah.
open.
Okay.
200 kilowatt charging capacity. So I think someone asked about charging infrastructure
Yes.
from Instagram.
Yeah. Oh.
I think Victor is the person who asked about this. He asked both like charging time. So from a 200 kilowatt charger, which are hard to find, you can get from 10 to 80% in like 35 minutes, which is quick. It's not the fastest of charging infrastructure. If you have a 220 outlet, so like what you'd put up to your washer and dryer, like that level of output of charge, overnight you'll get the battery from 0 to 100, like 11 and a half hours. But someone asked about, like, I think Victor asked about the 110. So your like standard household outlet charging of this car. And frankly, that's like typically what I'll use to just like overnight top up some things if I've only done like 50 miles or so. And that's kind of what you can expect to see. You plug this in and overnight you're probably gonna get like between 50 and 70 miles of range added back. But with a 350 mile range capacity, it's a 108 kilowatt per hour battery pack. It's huge. That is not going to be a way of charging up the car if you're actually using it a lot every day. If you're using it just a little bit, you just got a short commute, you could just get by with a 110 outlet.
Kevin R asks, can you use a Tesla supercharger on this car with the new, because you know they started to
Yeah.
their
That's a good question. I don't know. I haven't honestly looked into that. I know that I heard that bit of news, but I haven't looked into what vehicles they're going to allow. I imagine because this is just your standard, what do they call this system? This port design. This is the most generic of electric vehicle charging. So I would be shocked if you could not charge this up at a supercharger.
and an adapter. I mean,
yeah, if they even require it, because if they're going to end up offering that, then they'll have like some adapter with the supercharger network like available to you.
all right, turn on the AC.
Yeah, I'm freaking dying. It's hot. People saying like, did the doors close? And I literally just got out of a Rolls-Royce Ghost because I was at a Ghost event. Guys,
Nice.
look for that. I'm gonna have a black badge Ghost test drive coming up soon. But so I got out of that, and like obviously the doors closed themselves in that, and you guys were just asking the question about whether the doors closed, and I was like, oh come on, now I want the doors to close for myself, for me.
So a question from Instagram.
Yeah.
From You Are Psycho.
Yeah.
Is it worth it?
Yeah, so that sounds like a give me a verdict, and I will give you a verdict in my review, but I do think that you need to, like, this is a particular buyer for this car, because as I said, it's like the person who is interested in going electric, but also wants all the comforts of their traditional luxury sedan. And I think that's where this car shines, because to this point, no really good long-range electric sedan or hatchback or whatever, has delivered the goods in terms of traditional luxury. And so Mercedes is bringing this 100+ year history of developing really nice cars, and it's applying that to an electric vehicle versus those other ones who are thinking, hey, battery technology first, and then we'll just put in some nice stuff in there. This is like they're doing it in the opposite order.
Another Instagram question.
Mm-hmm.
2J. Is it better than a Model or the Model S Plaid?
Yeah, so I talked a little about this before you
Okay.
showed up, in that like people want to compare this to the Plaid, but the EQS, at least the 450 specifically, is not trying to go for crazy acceleration, crazy power. 329 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds. That's nowhere close to the 3-second 0 to 60 or the Plaid's even less. The Plaid's like 2.9 or something, 0 to 60 of the Plaid, and the range of that one is like 400 miles. This, I will say this, though Mercedes was not like, hey, battery technology first, it's got to be all about that. The range of this is very good, because 350 miles is what the EPA says for this. I've been regularly seeing a 400 mile range.
Another question from Instagram. What's the size of the car? Ziv asked.
It's S-Class-ish.
Okay.
It's close. It's 3 inches shorter, 1 inch narrower, 1 inch taller, the same wheelbase length. So inside the cabin, you're only losing like 2 inches of rear legroom to an S-Class. but that's kind of like, that's why they give it the S name. So the EQS meant they're going for this full-size luxury sedan segment.
So following to that question,
Yeah.
ES asked, does it feel as luxurious as an S-Class?
Yeah, it's a good question. So in my review, I really go deep on this one. I'll say that certain things feel more luxurious because I think that sophisticated technology is a component of a luxury feel. This is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And so this feels cooler than an S-Class. But at least aesthetically, looking at the seats, like look at the back seats, like they don't look that amazing,
Yeah,
right?
no,
They just look like nice seats. They don't look like S-Class nice. You get these cool pillows here, you know, for like
I do like this.
driver and passenger. Yeah,
I do like that.
pillow feels
Yeah.
really good, but it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't give you that same wow factor that I feel like you get from. I don't know why I'm turning on the street. Maybe I'll show you the turning radius. That you get from like an S-Class inside, except for the hyper screen.
Tuxedo Black Hat asked, does it feel calm and comfortable when driving it?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really
definitely.
quiet, super comfortable.
quiet,
It's got the airmatic suspension system on top of the adaptive dampers. I want to show you this turning radius.
On brake test too. Kevin asked
Okay.
that.
So the turning radius is going to be nuts because it has 10 degrees of rear wheel steering.
Oh wow.
It just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
pivots. It effectively pivots
Dude,
on itself.
And there was a tight corner too.
Yeah, it's insane how quickly or how tight this turning radius is. So the car is like 4.5 degrees of rear wheel steering as standard, but you can pay for an upgrade for 10 degrees. So that means that the technology, and this might be frustrating to some people, the technology is there for a 10-degree rear wheel steer on every EQS sold, but you have to pay to unlock it. And that's going to get into an interesting territory as cars come out, where automakers will have to decide if they're going to build the car in with technology, and it's going to be basically like an upgrade or maybe even a subscription service.
Maximilian asked, what does a Q mean in the EQS?
Good question. Sorry, that's awful. I don't know. I don't know what the Q means. It's like internal nomenclature. I don't think the Q stands for like electric Q some word S. I think it's just sort of like they just decided that was the word they wanted for their electric vehicles. They're all like the two EVs that they did before this, which are not built from the ground up to be electric vehicles. It was the EQB. I think they did an EQA too.
Yeah.
They did an EQC, so they actually did 3. The EQA, EQB, EQC.
The little egg.
Yeah, but this is the first from the ground up one.
What are some color options for this car?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I know, like, I've seen it in white. I've seen it in this, what do they call this? The gray metallic. It's like a really boring name. It's like a gray metallic for this car. And, yeah, that's pretty much kind of like your color spread.
Kevin R asked, does it burn rubber when you floor it?
No. So even though this is a rear drive version of this car, it does not burn rubber because it's only making 329 horsepower. Instead, it like puts the power down really well.
Brake test, if you can.
Okay, so here we go. I don't want to scare this accurate. I'll put up to it, but okay. So yeah, so the brakes are good, but here's the thing about the brakes in this car. So I mentioned the Regen Braking thing. They try to merge the Regen Braking with the regular friction braking. So if you have Regen Braking on, which I had a little bit on, it'll start to actually press the brake pedal for you. And so you go to the brakes expecting the brake pedal to be right there, and it's actually a little further on. And so you're like, oh wait, well, oh, there's the brake pedal. Like you have to go a little further than you expect. So like you have to learn that about the car. You do get used to it. I got used to it. But the brakes are like okay. The full braking force, as we just did there, is okay. It's the feel of the pedal is weird. It feels really weird. I don't think I like it.
I do like the screen, dude. I like it's like tilted.
Yeah.
So it's like
No, dude, the hyper screen is
Yeah.
just awesome. It's not just like a call it, just like a gimmick, right? It's not a gimmick. Like this whole thing works really well.
Oh, good question. Any cool safety features?
It has the full suite of Mercedes active goodies. So it's got adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, lane change assist. So you like just hit the turn signal stalk and it'll change lanes for you.
And then the brake thing. that alerts you and stuff.
Oh yeah, auto emergency
Yeah.
braking and rear cross traffic alerts. It has a 360 camera system, which I don't think I can bring up at speed, but at low speed you can just bring up the camera system.
It's a nice screen, man. Wow.
Yeah, so you got to be going
That's
slower than
really-
this, and then the camera system pops up, and it's
okay.
freaking cool. So it's got Regen Braking that I mentioned with 2 different levels. I'm not going to keep talking. I'll just wait till there's a question.
You think there's gonna be a new standard for? Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah, so now we're going to low speeds, and you can see the
That's
camera
cool.
system. It just see cars
Yeah.
around you, and you can just
What? Oh, it actually takes. Okay, that's cool.
is that not a trip?
Yeah.
Like that's freaking sweet.
That's really cool.
And it'll cut out at a certain speed. I think it's like 15, 10. Ah, the guy was taking a photo of the EQS.
Oh, really?
It's like the only person I've seen thus far that like knew what it
Knows.
was and was like, oh yeah, it's the EQS, cool. But he was driving an i3, so he clearly appreciates electric vehicle technology.
Kevin asks range and tire size and color. Sorry, I think we're.
All right, so we talked the color. The gray metallic is the paint job. Tire size 255 section at all 4 corners. The range is, according to the EPA, 350 miles for the 450 plus. It's 340 for the 580 version of this car. That's a lot of numbers. Sorry to confuse. But I'm seeing real world a lot better. And Victor was asking about real world range. And Victor, I think in his question specifically said, like, if you're driving a lot on the highway. So in a gas-powered car, highway miles is going to be better fuel economy. In an electric vehicle, highway miles is actually, it requires more of the battery pack to sustain that. And so your real world range, that's a really hard thing to say. Your real goodness, I'm dying. Real world range is probably, even with a lot of highway driving, probably pretty darn close to 350, 360 miles.
That's good.
Because like, you know, the fact that I'm seeing a 400-mile range estimate for a mix of highway and city means that you're probably doing a good 350 if you're doing a lot of highway driving, and that's awesome.
Tuxedo Black Cast. Who needs car driving teachers nowadays when they could have done that with 360 cameras and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, you still. Here's the thing, like as and I'm gonna sound old by saying this, like as good as safety features are, you still need to be paying attention, and you still need to know, like, hey, I'm looking and I'm seeing what that person's doing there, and I'm anticipating what they're gonna do. The cars have not yet gotten to the point where they can anticipate what other drivers are doing yet. So you still, as a driver, need to be like going, I see what that person's about to do, I'm gonna avoid that.
Kevin R asks crash ratings.
I don't know if the EQS has been fully crash tested yet. I think that's still coming. You know what's fun? Instant torque.
Oh, it makes that sound.
And that's soundtrack too. So like you get 2 different sound options in the car. You get a settings, you get a system, vehicle, and sound experience. You can turn it off if you want. So you got Vivid Flux, which you're hearing here.
Oh, that's good. I don't know if
And
you guys can
see the ambient lighting up there? Hang on, let me make sure I avoid all these cyclists, and then I'll punch it again. See that?
Oh, that's cool.
And then when you take your foot off, it goes to blue. So that's Vivid Flux. Here's what Silver Wave sounds like. This is a different one. Hang on, let me just turn down the a little bit so you can hear this better. So Silver Wave lighting.
Yeah.
Vivid Flux is the business. I love this sound. It sounds super spacecrafty.
It reminds me of that show. What's that car that used to talk to you and stuff? It
Oh
has,
gosh,
I forgot.
why am I forgetting the name?
Oh, the signal's cutting out because
Oh.
of the area. Thanks, Kevin.
Why am I forgetting the name of that?
Black Knight? No.
That Knight Rider.
Night Rider.
Knight Rider.
Yeah.
Jeez,
That's kind of a ride.
Yeah. Okay, but you can turn off the sound experience totally, and when we turn down the AC, when we'll see how quiet it gets in the car. And then again, obviously, we're gonna have my test drives. Okay, you ready?
It's pretty quiet.
That's pretty quiet for 50 miles an hour.
Yeah.
50 miles an hour.
That's super quiet. And it's weird, so I feel like the suspension changes when you go faster.
Yeah, so maybe it just absorbing. Well, yeah. So if you're going faster, the ride typically gets smoother.
Yeah, I just felt that.
Yeah, but also like this road surface is very good. It's not a loud road surface, but it's smooth.
Yang Vang asked, is it better than a Tesla?
Yeah, so I mean, it depends how you're going to define the car. I'll talk like a lot more about this in my in-depth review coming up. But if you're going to define the car by acceleration and range, no, it's not better than a Tesla. If you're going to define it by luxury and yeah, but it's just got to be that little stretch there. It's just not good.
Oh, that's super smooth.
Oh yeah.
Holy smokes. Kevin, can you see if you can see the live video?
Anybody?
Oh, it's back. Okay.
Back?
Cool.
It's likely.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, can you get different steering wheels design options?
No. This is the only steering wheel design you can get. So it's a lot like the new S-Class. The thing I don't like about it, it gets all this dust on it really quickly, the gloss black. I was thinking like we got
I said it worked for him. Yeah, hey, yeah, set the signal. Oh, no. Said it worked for him.
What works for him?
He set the signal to 5G and then he connected it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not gonna go through
Yeah.
and set that up right now. But is it back?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's back, right, guys? Yeah.
Do you have any more of the Instagram?
No,
questions?
that was all the questions.
Okay, we got through
Yeah.
a lot of the Instagram questions. If you guys have any other questions, fire them away. And we're probably going to wrap up soon here.
Nice shirt, dude. I like that color.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah.
You guys can get one. Y'all can get one. It's on my YouTube channel. Under the videos, there's always like a little thing about what merch you can get. By the way, just look at this ambient lighting. Just like doing
That's nice.
crazy things. Then you accelerate, and it goes red, and then blue.
So if I talk to, do I need to talk to this or
Talk to that.
Okay. Yes, Tavo, I did ask your question and stuff.
Which one?
The steering wheel.
Oh
the
yeah.
options.
Yeah. Did you not hear that, Tabo?
I don't think. I think they were disconnected.
Oh,
at that
okay.
time.
So yeah, the steering wheel. This is the only design, and it's based off the new S-Class. Like the same design of the S-Class. The thing I was saying I don't like is the gloss black just collects a lot of dust. So that's all you see all the time is like car just says dust on the steering wheel.
Oh, this is a good question. Do you think there's gonna be an AMG version?
Yes, there is.
Nice.
They've already confirmed it. There's going to be like a 650 horsepower version, and then they're going to have a dynamic package with 750.
On this car?
On this car.
Wow.
750 horsepower. I sure hope they make the exterior design a little more spunky. I think they need to do something with the exterior for the AMG one to make it more aggressive.
How many ambient colors can you get?
It's a 64 color ambient light system, but this has the dynamic setting, so you can just choose one color, or you can have it be a hybridization of colors, or like this, like different colors playing with you and like responding to things.
Oh yes, the dashboard is beautiful. Oh, look at that.
Oh yeah, so the augmented reality or augmented video for the navigation system. So this will show you a traffic light camera. If you've got navigation going, it'll pull this up and put the arrows for like which direction you should be going.
Yes, we're gonna do a tuxedo black hat as the horn test.
For the horn test?
Yeah.
We did that.
Oh, did
sorry,
you?
I did that during the when I was just standing there. But here, it's a pretty loud horn. It is, and when
Mercedes are pretty loud.
Yeah, when we stop, I'll just hop out, or I'll have Patrick hop out, and I'll do a horn test there. But it's a pretty loud horn.
Oh, does it have a head-up display?
Yes, a pretty large one at that. It's like one of the biggest ones
Oh,
I've
really?
seen. And it's got a lot of information on there. And the head-up display, as an option, you can get it where it'll show you the navigation directions. on the
Too,
head-up
yeah.
display, and
Oh,
it'll
that's
do
cool.
like it'll do the arrows, and they're like animated. It's freaking cool. You'll see that in my test drive. All right, guys. If we
did do a poll. Sorry, it got disconnected at that time.
Oh, when we did the poll?
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, the instant torque is fun. I will say that. All right, why don't you hop out? I'll do the horn test for them, and then
Toss it
we'll
in.
wrap it up. All right, here we go. Horn. You know we're not doing again. The car alarm.
Oh yeah, that was loud. Oh shoot, that's loud.
So it's a loud horn.
That's loud. No, we can't do it here, Kevin, because we're at a location and stuff. So
What was he asking for?
the panic.
No, we're not doing
yeah.
panic. No, we're no longer doing panics in my videos. It's too loud.
Yeah.
All
All right. Any
guys.
more question, guys? Oh, hi from Russia.
Hey,
Cool.
thank you for joining in. I don't know thank you in Russian, but thank you.
All right, guys. I think that's.
Yeah, we're probably going to stop it there. Guys, check out the in-depth review that's coming, my test drives, night drives, all that stuff for the EQS. I'll go crazy in-depth for you, don't you worry. And you guys have a great rest of your weekend.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thanks for tuning in.